Assalamualaikum, welcome everybody, welcome to the teaching video topic 3, which is elasticity. Okay, first of all, elasticity has nothing to do with electricity. It's two different things, so don't be confused. If you have learned this in schools, elasticity means keanjalan, kepekaan. Okay, even though it sounds very hard because it's something you have never heard about before, actually the topic elasticity is relatively easy. It involves calculation and some sort of diagram, and also it also have the determinants. Alright, so topic 3 is about elasticity. So we will see the elasticity of demand and also the elasticity of supply. So that's why you learn this after you have learned about the demand and supply. Alright, so before that, what does it mean by elasticity? Elasticity means the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand or quantity supply due to the change of its determinant. Okay, for example, under the elasticity of demand, okay, we have three types of elasticity, which is the first one, price elasticity of demand, second one is income elasticity of demand, and the third one is cross elasticity of demand. While under the elasticity of supply, we have only one, which is the price elasticity of supply. Okay, so I will use this as the short form. E stand for elasticity, D for demand. So within that, this is the price elasticity of demand. While the second one, E elasticity, Y stand for income elasticity of demand. Why do I put this one as EI instead of EY? Because in economic, I stand for investment. So I will use the same alphabet so that you won't be confused. So in economics, Y represented by income. Income is represented by alphabet Y. Okay, while cross elasticity of demand, cross is X, right? So elasticity of cross elasticity of demand, EX. And for this one, elasticity of supply, ES. Although EY and EX is also the elasticity of demand, while why this one we call elasticity of demand instead of EP, right? Because I'm taking the first here and put it as the short form for each elasticity. This one, the short form for income is Y, so it's EY. For cross, it's X, so EX. Why don't this one, the short form for price is P, and this become EP? Cannot do that because for elasticity of supply is also price elasticity. So if you put EP here, it will be EP, and here it's also EP. So it will be very confusing afterwards. That's why we put this one as ED, price elasticity of demand, and E as price elasticity of supply. Okay, so afterwards it will be very easy for you to understand this. Okay, going back here, before I explain about the law of demand and law of supply, isn't it? As the price increases, not sure what happened here. Okay, this is the law of demand. It is said that as the price increases, quantity demand will go down. Of course, you know that, right? Because we said that the buyer would like something best value. If the price is expensive, they won't demand the product. They will try to find a cheaper product, and vice versa. If the price decreases, automatically the quantity demand will rise because the buyer is very happy when the price is cheap. For example, when we have sale, year-end sale, or we have discounted anything, of course, buyer will start to buy more because the price is cheaper. They will get product with best value. But what we don't know is if the price increases, how much is the quantity demand will decrease? If, for example, I told you, price of pen increases from RM1 to RM2, do you know how many quantity demand decrease? From 100 to 50 ke? From 100 to 20 ke? How many? Do you know? We don't know. We just know roughly if the price of the product increases, the quantity demand will go down. That is for sure. We know about that. But we don't know how much, how many the quantity demand will go down. Same goes here. If the price of the product decrease, quantity demand will rise, but by how much? We don't know also. That's why we will look at the third topic, which is elasticity, because we would like to see the responsiveness of this quantity demand when the price changes. For example, if the price increase from RM2 to RM3, increase by 1 ringgit, quantity demand decrease from 100 to 10. Now, mean that 90% decided not to buy the product. So what does it mean? The buyer is very sensitive with the change in price. Harga baru turun RM1, 90 of the buyer decided not to buy. Tinggal 10 je yang beli. So maksud tu itulah yang kita kata responsive, very responsive with the change in price. While kalau kes yang lain, for example, price increase from 1 ringgit to 2 ringgit, naik RM1 juga, tapi the quantity demand reduce from 100 to 90. Meaning that only 10% decided not to buy the product. So itu yang kita panggil less responsive, kurang peka pada perubahan harga. The quantity demand is less responsive. So we would like to see the degree of responsiveness with our third topic, the elasticity. Nak tengok respon pembeli ni. Sebab dia, kita sangat peka pada perubahan harga ataupun tidak peka pada perubahan harga. Same goes with the price elasticity of supply, this one. Okay, we would refer to the law of supply. Law of the supply said that if the price of the product increases, quantity supply will increase. While if the price of the product decrease, quantity supply will decrease, because the aim of a seller is to get profit. So when will they get profit? If they manage to sell something expensive. So seller love the price that is expensive because they will get more profit. But we don't know how much the quantity supply will rise if the price rise. For example, the price of pen increase from 1 ringgit to 2 ringgit. Quantity supply, we know it will rise, but how much? By how much? Banyak sangat ke meningkat? Kurang ke meningkat? So kalau dia meningkat sangat banyak, for example, asalnya orang nak jual 100, because of the increment in 1 ringgit, orang jadi jual 200, naik sekali ganda. Itu yang kita panggil very responsive. Very responsive with the change in price. But kalau the price increases by 1 ringgit tapi quantity supply increase by only, for example, from 100 naik kepada 110, 10 barang je bertambah, itu kita kata less responsive. So kita nak tengok degree of responsiveness by the seller pula ni. Quantity supply due to the change in price. Okay, hopefully you are okay with that. So bawah demand, kita ada 3 yang kita nak study, which is price elasticity of demand, ED, income elasticity of demand, EY, cross elasticity of demand. So for the first one, I don't think you have problem because it's the same like I explained before. When the price changes, we would like to see how it affect the quantity demand. Either the quantity demand will increase in a large amount or small amount or so-so. Okay? That is the meaning of price elasticity of demand. Due to the change in price, how will it affect the increase in quantity demand? While for income elasticity of demand, meaning that if the income of the consumer rises, increase, how will it affect the quantity demand? So EY tak ada kaitan dengan price dah. Kita nak tengok perubahan quantity demand apabila our income increases. Kenapa income, madam? Because when you learn demand before, income is the determinant of demand. Consumer's income under determinant of demand. Maksudnya, pendapatan consumer ni will influence the demand of the buyer. So here, in terms of income elasticity of demand, we would like to see how will the income has affect the demand, quantity demand. Either it's responsive or less responsive. Okay, kepekaan pada perubahan quantity demand disebabkan income changes. While cross elasticity of demand, okay, sudah salah faham. Sekiranya cross berubah, macam mana kesan pada quantity demand? No. Tak ada cross, tak ada maksud dalam ekonomi ya. Cross elasticity of demand, this one refers to different types of good. Remember when we learned chapter 2, we have two types of relationship between goods, which is the first one are substitute goods and the second one adalah complementary goods. Hopefully you are still okay with that. Substitute goods ni maksudnya barang pengganti. For example, if you don't eat fish, you will eat chicken. While complementary goods means that goods yang you use together. For example, pen and ink. A pen without ink does not, apa kata, tak boleh guna lah. Alright, so here in terms of cross elasticity of demand, this is quantity demand. We would like to see the relationship between the price of one product, price of A, to the how will the change in price of A affect the quantity demand of good B, barang yang berlainan. For example, bila harga pen berubah, apakah kesan kepada good B ni? Ink. Itu maksud cross. Different types of good. When the price of fish change, how will affect the quantity demand of chicken? Itu maksud cross. Different types of good. Well, for this one, price elasticity of demand ni, although this one is also price, tapi dia same type of good. For example, when the price of fish change, how will it affect the quantity demand of fish also? Right, that one is price elasticity. Harga fish, apa kesan pada quantity demand fish? Harga Milo, apa kesan pada quantity demand Milo? Same types of good for this one. But for this one, price of another product to another product. Okay, hopefully you are okay with that. Alright, then it's the price elasticity of supply. So same goes with this one. We would like to see the effect of the price of the product, which is price of okay, for example, I write it down as price of chicken change, either increase or decrease. How will it affect the quantity supply? So itu je beza dia. Yang atas ni price of chicken, how will it affect the quantity demand? Okay, this one price to supply, this one price to demand. Alright, so let's see the definition. This is the definition. The responsiveness of the change in quantity demanded due to the change in price. Okay, guys, because we are looking at the quantity demand and price, so this one is the definition of ED. ED is price elasticity of demand. So we would like to see the response of quantity demand when price change. That's why the definition will be the responsiveness of the change in respon perubahan quantity demand due disebabkan changes in price. So you cannot change here. Ada student dia buat ini. The responsiveness of the change in price due to the change in quantity demand. Terbalik. If you buat macam tu, maksudnya quantity demand berubah dulu, baru harga berubah. Tak ada kan? Dia everything start with the price. Bila harga barang tu berubah, then how will it affect the quantity demand? Either it increase or quantity demand decrease depending on how price changes. If the price decrease, quantity demand will increase. If the price increase, quantity demand will decrease. And kita nak tengok pula degree dia. Either it's a small increase ataupun a large increase. Same goes here. Either it's a small increase or a large decrease of quantity demand. Okay, so as long as you know one definition, automatically you can define all of this. Just change. For example, tadi kan, definition of price elasticity. So you can hafal, make sure you hafal. The definition of price elasticity of demand is the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand due to the change in price. So this is the definition for ED. The responsiveness, perubahan quantity demanded due to the change in price. Well, if you want to do the definition for income elasticity of demand, okay, the definition will be the same. The responsiveness of the change in apa? Income. Tukarlah kat sini. Sorry. Demand dulu. Kita mention perubahan pada demand kan? Sorry. In quantity demand is the same. Due to the change in income. So basically, it's about responsiveness, perubahan quantity demand, same here. But, bila income berubah. Okay. Well, if we are doing this one, the definition for EX, the definition will be, come on guys, even though you tak rujuk, of course you boleh buat ni. ES is the responsiveness of the change in quantity supply. Bukan quantity demanded dah kan? Quantity supplied due to the change in price. Same definition as this one, just that you tukar kat sini instead of quantity demand, dia akan jadi quantity supplied. Quantity supplied. Still responsiveness due to the change in price. Same here. Because the price changes, how will it affect the quantity supply? While for the definition of cross elasticity, you need to know which product. If for example, pen and ink, so the formula will be, the definition will be, EX will be the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand. Must mention about quantity demand because this one under the elasticity of demand of what? For example, pen adalah price, untuk ink adalah quantity demand. Okay, quantity demand of ink due to the change in price of pen. Nampak tak? Still, the definition is the same. Responsiveness, change in quantity demand, of course. Tapi you must mention of what product. Ink. Due to the change in price, sama, same here. Okay. Tapi price apa? Of pen. Mesti two different things here for the cross elasticity, EX. Okay. Hopefully you are okay with that. This is the definition. So, once you tahu satu definition, insyaAllah yang lain-lain tu pun the definition you will be fine. Because it's the same definition. Cuma changes sahaja. Okay. While in terms of the formula, this is the formula. Okay, for ED, okay, to price elasticity of demand, right? So the formula will be ED equals to Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 times P1 P2 minus P1. Payahnya kita nak hafal. Tak perlu risau. You tahu one formula, automatically you akan tahu formula yang lain. Sebab you tahu untuk ED, relationship between quantity demand with price. Untuk EY, relationship between quantity demand with income. Income short form dia Y kan? So, you just hafal one formula, quantity demand is Q. So, you put lah Q, Q2 minus Q1 over Q1, same formula like above. Cuma kat sini dia akan berubah, Y1, Y2 minus Y1. See, as simple as that. Tukar je alphabet dia tu. Instead of P, dia akan jadi Y untuk formula EY, income elasticity. While kalau you nak buat formula untuk ES, ES apa? Price elasticity of supply. So, kat sini adalah QS. Kat sini adalah P. Hubungan antara price dan juga quantity supply, isn't it? Okay, so how's the formula? Untuk Q, walaupun ini quantity demand, kita pakai Q je kan? Kita tak pakai QD ke kan? Kita pakai Q. So same goes here. Just that you know, Q2 minus Q1 over Q1. What is Q here? Q here stand for QS, quantity supply, not quantity demand. So here is Q juga, tapi this one is Q for quantity demand. Okay, times with P1, P2 minus P1. So basically, formula for ES is the same like ED. Just that you know, for ES, here, ini adalah quantity supply. But here, ini adalah quantity demand. Okay, very simple. Alright, while formula for E apa yang kita buat lagi? ED dah ada, EY, EX. Oh, macam mana nak buat formula EX? Macam mana nak beza dia? You know this one is quantity demand to price also kan? Tapi ini price harga barang lain, quantity demand barang lain. So you kena tahulah quantity demand barang apa yang dia mention tu. For example, quantity demand of good A, price of good B. So, what happened to the formula? Formula will be EX, because we don't want it to be this formula, so kita kena buat perkelainan sikit. Kita pun kena bagi tahu barang apa yang ada. QA2 minus QA1 over QA1 times PB1 PB2 minus PB1. See? It's the same formula. You just letak je alphabet simbol barang tu yang membezakan. Because this one is quantity demand of good A. Ini adalah price of good B. This is the difference between cross elasticity of demand with the price elasticity of demand. Okay, are you okay with that? Hopefully you are okay. Just know that one formula, you can build up the formula for other elasticity also. We have only 4 elasticity, you will be fine. This is the one that you will be using. You will use in the calculation. And we have another formula here. Bear in mind. What is that? All of a sudden. Alright. So for this formula, I will explain. Kejap lagi. I will explain how the use of this formula now. Okay. So I will put one slide here. Alright, so I will explain about ED. So we know ED is the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand due to the change in price. So it's about the change in the quantity demand due to the change in price. So in terms of the formula, ED will be Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 times P1, P2 minus P1. So why do we have Q1, Q2, P1, P2? Because here is the keywords, change. If there is no change in the price, there won't be any elasticity. Mesti ada perubahan harga dulu, baru ada isu elasticity. Baru kita nak tengok kepekaan perubahan quantity demand. If there is no change in price, there will be no change in quantity demand. Okay, so bila dia kata P1, P2 ni, maksudnya P1 is the old price, P2 is the new price. Same goes here. Q1 is the old quantity demand, Q2 is the new quantity demand. Let's say, I give you one example. For example, okay, the price of pen increases from RM1 to RM2. Okay, so the quantity demand change from 5 to 3. Macam sikit sangat kan, 50 to 30. Sebab harga meningkat kan, law of demand said that if the price of the product increases, quantity demand will go down. Itulah ni kan, harga meningkat from 1 to 2 ringgit, the quantity demand change from 50 to 30. So, take the info there. Which one? Okay, RM1 is P1, RM2 is P2. Yang dimension mula-mula tu will be your P1. 50 will be quantity demand 1, 30 is quantity demand 2. Okay, so you have the information there. Every information is there. So nak bagi lagi senang supaya you tak confuse, letak dalam box. Saya prefer lah P1, P2, Q1, Q2. So that bila you letak dalam formula nanti, you boleh nampak terus. Confirm tak confuse. Okay, so P1 is 1. P2 is 2. Q1 is 50. Q2 is 30. Ada student cakap, 30 lah minta Q1 sebab dia sikit, makin banyak. Tak, yang dia mention dahulu ya. Okay, yang dia mention dahulu akan jadi Q1. So we have the information there. Now we can calculate. ED equals to Q2. 30 minus 50 divided by Q1. 50 times P1, 1, 2 minus 1. Okay, is your calculator. Okay, this is my calculator here. 30 minus 50, okay, divided by 50. Ambil dalam decimal, minus sign tu jangan lupa. Okay, so ED equals to negative 0.4 times 2 tolak 1, 1 bagi 1, 1. So ED equals to negative 0.4. That's it. Tolong jangan sekaligus kira, please. Sebab dia ada bahagi macam ni kan. The chances you make mistake is very high. Even though you are very good with calculator, with maths, nasihat saya kira sebelah-sebelah. Maksudnya kira side this dulu, and then you baru kira sebelah sini. Calculate this one and then this one. Okay, so this is your answer. But ada trick dia lagi. for ED sahaja. Okay, elasticity kita ada berapa? We have 4 types of elasticity kan. ED, EY, EX dengan ES. Sekarang ni untuk ED sahaja jawapan akhir dia tak boleh jadi negatif. You kena letak dalam absolute value. You kena rewrite the... Oh, I tak buat. Tak apa, saya tulis kat sini. The final answer for this is not negative 0.4. It will be ED equals to 0.4. This is for ED only. But for yang lain-lain, EY, EX, ES, if the value is negative, biarkan di situ. Okay? Okay? So, that's it. It's as simple as that in terms of the calculation. Of course, the case study, they akan bagi 2 types of price, 2 types of quantity. So, as long as you know the formula here, you can do the calculation. And ingat pesan saya, jangan kira sekaligus, kira sebelah-sebelah ya. Okay? And then afterwards, let's try out, for example, if the question asks for... Oh, tak payah, saya buat kat sini je. For example, I would like to calculate the EY, for example. Tak apalah, kejap. Copy. Tak jadi, tak datang. Oh, okay. Alright. So here, it's EY. I'll change here. EY, the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand to the change in. So changes here will be changes in price, right? In income. Okay, in terms of the formula will change here. It will become Y1 Y2 minus Y1. So kita padam je semua ni. Okay, here is EY. Alright, so here the relationship between price and also the relationship between the income and quantity demanded. When the income increases, what happened to quantity demand? Kalau rules of thumb dia, of course, bila harga pendapatan kita meningkat, of course we would like to purchase more. Itu rules of thumb dia. Okay? Tapi nanti as time goes by, when we learn in detail about the income elasticity of demand, awak akan nampak ada yang tak follow rules. Okay, tapi saya tak nak tunjuk kat situ lagi. Saya cuma nak bagi tahu kat awak how to calculate je kalau soalan-soalan dia. So basically, after this teaching video, you can look at the question and try to calculate, and you can basically predict what types of question is they ask there. Okay. For example, this is the question. Right, when the income increases, dia boleh jadi decrease dalam kes saya buat increase from 2,000 to 3,000. Quantity demanded increase from 100 to 500. Okay, so calculate the EY. So in this case, this one will be Y1 Y2 Q1 Q2. Okay, so put the info there. Y1 1000, Y2 2000, Q1 100, Q2 500. Okay, macam mana madam tahu from 100 to 500? Saya letak je. This is a sample. Saya nak tunjuk kat awak macam mana nak kira. Okay, so here what happened, we just substitute the value there. Mula-mula Q dulu, 500 minus 100 over 100 times 1000, 2000 minus 1000. Okay, so you have your calculator here. 400 divided by 100, so 40 lah kan. 40 pula, 4. Nak di-confirm juga. Kadang-kadang tu kita blur dalam exam kan. Okay, while this one 2000 minus 1000 is 1000, 1000 divided by 1000 is 1. Betul tak? Kena kira juga ni. 1000 bagi 1000. Satu lah kan. Okay, so 4 times 1, it will become 4. So this is your final answer. Simple as that. Okay, so for this particular part, I will explain about the definition. Make sure you know how to define. So this is our definition. Okay, this is all the definition for ED, EY, ES, EX. Okay, make sure you know how to differentiate between the elasticity. Second one, you need to know how to differentiate the formula, how to build up the formula. Okay, because the formula won't be given in the exam. Okay, ingat satu formula, you can manage the other formula. For this formula, I'll teach you in another teaching video, no worries. Okay, and same goes here. Alright, so you make sure you know. And then if you see the question there, sorry. Okay, so here is the question there. You can see that. Calculate the coefficient of elasticity of supply when the price increases from 150 to 155. So what should you do with this is, guys, look at here. 150 coefficient elasticity of supply. Okay, meaning that they ask you to calculate ES. So you need to know what is the formula for ES. Q2 minus Q1 over Q1. Sorry, kat sini I cannot counting outside. I'll make it bigger. Not sure what happened here. Okay, so I've made it bigger. Right, so they ask you to calculate the ES. ES equals to Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 times P1, P2 minus P1, isn't it? Careful dia macam ni tau. Jangan letak bahagi tiba-tiba all of a sudden. Jangan buat bahagi ni panjang kat sini. Dia macam ni. Dia mesti sebelah-sebelah. This side and also this side. Okay, so dia bagi two things there. Alright, this will be your P1, this is P2. Okay, so you have the info there. We can list it down. P1 equals to 150, P2 equals to 155, Q1. How to get Q1 is from the box. But be careful because in ES, you must refer to this box. This one. Okay, so 150 is your P1. mean that this one will be your Q1. 155 is your P2, so this one will be your Q2. So Q1 equals to 90, Q2 equals to 110. Okay, so ES equals to, just substitute the figure there, 110 minus 90 over 90 times 150, 155 minus 150. Ini nampak bila figure yang macam gini, you will be a bit confused lah, because dia banyak nilai kat situ kan. So kira betul-betul kira sebelah-sebelah. Make sure you kira sebelah-sebelah. So 110 minus 90 divided by 90 equals to, kalau banyak macam ni okay, ambil 2 decimal places, 2 tempat perpuluhan. Kalau 2 tak boleh naik dah ke atas kan, dia akan jadi 0.22. Okay, 0.22 times 155 minus 150, 0.05 lah. Okay, 155, saya reconfirm supaya you betul-betul careful. 0.05. Okay, so 150 divided by 0.05. It's 30 here. So EX equals to 30 times 0.22, 6.6. Kenapa jadi EX? ES. I'm so sorry. I might be sleeping while teaching. Okay? Are you okay? Alright? And then what about this one? If the price of sugar increases from 130 to 140, the demand for good H. See, two types of product here. Price of sugar, kita boleh pakai short form PS. Demand for good H. Dia tak cakap demand for sugar, dia cakap good H. So, meaning that dia ada dua benda. Price of sugar with relation with quantity demand of good H. So what types of elasticity is this? Harga barang lain dengan quantity lain. It is the cross elasticity. Okay. And then from the information here, price of sugar, this one akan jadi, sugar kita pakai short form sebagai S. PS1, PS2, good H. Yang ni akan jadi QH1, QH2. Right? So formula awak, QH2 minus QH1 divided by QH1 times PS1, PS2 minus PS1. The normal formula Q2 tolak Q1 bahagi Q1 darab P1, P2 minus P1 kan? You just letak alphabet dia. H, H, H. S, S, S. Barulah dia membezakan dengan price elasticity of demand ataupun price elasticity of supply. Cross elasticity wajib. So, boleh tak kalau saya letak QA ke, PB ke? Cannot. You must follow the question there. Or else you won't get the marks for formula. Oh, okay. Right? So, what should you do is substitute the figure there. EX equals to QH1. Saya suka buat macam ni walaupun saya dah biasa, sebab dia akan menimbulkan kesalahan. QH2 65, PS1 135, PS2 140. Okay, so 65 minus 80 over 80 times 135, 140 minus 135. Okay, EX equals to W tolak 80 divided by 80. Okay, ingat 2 decimal places. Kalau 7 boleh naik atas kan? So jadi 0.19, jangan lupa tanda negatif. Negatif 0.19 times RM4.40 tolak RM1.35, 0.05 kan. Okay, 135 divided by 0.05 equals to 27. EX equals to times 0.19. Negatif tu jangan lupa ya, negative 5.13. So this is your answer. But this one is EX, so tak boleh abaikan negatif I told you untuk elasticity ada 4, ED, EY, EX, ES. Cuma yang this one je negative value tu you abaikan buat dalam absolute value. But for others tak boleh abaikan. So this one you must answer with negative. So this is your answer. Okay, so please try. You may try because you have the question there. I already put in the folder material for topic 3. Okay, just that you need to recognize which one belongs to which elasticity. So see here, that's why I asked you to do the definition for all elasticity, because the question will ask about the definition of price elasticity of demand. Maksudnya definition for ED, the responsiveness of the change in quantity demand due to the change in price. And then baru disuruh calculate the price elasticity of demand. So calculate ED. So the formula Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 times P1, P2 minus P1. And then you need to take the figure there. This one will be P1, this one will be P2. And then calculate that. Okay, so I think that's it for our first teaching video. I'll see you in the second teaching video. Thank you for listening.